to the fourth video as part of the psychology section of the course. Alright, so this video is going to be about practical applications. Okay, so alright, so the first one is discipline and routine. Okay, so this is very, very important. You have to understand that your outside life directly impacts your trading life. Okay, what you do outside of trading affects your trading. If you're not disciplined on your day-to-day basis, right, your daily life, your outside life, your life outside from trading, how do you expect to be disciplined while you're trading? You know, so discipline and routine is definitely a very important one. Okay, you need to build daily habits to stay consistent with your trading plan. Okay, so let's say you wake up in the morning. Okay, wake up at that certain time every single day. Okay, make sure that's your routine. Make sure you don't stray away from waking up at that time. Okay, so for example, for me, okay, I gotta wake up at like 4 or 5 a.m. depending on, you know, the lunar calendar. But regardless, I gotta wake up at a certain time to pray in the morning. Okay, it's usually I'd say in the summer times it's about like 4 a.m. And then in winter times, well, 4:30, maybe 5 a.m. Winter times, I'd say it's more towards the 6 a.m. side. But regardless, I always wake up at 4, right? 4 a.m. And then I go about my day, right? Gotta pray, and then I gotta do other things. I have a routine, right, that I follow every single day, right? Now, when it comes to your routine, you have to build something or build a disciplined schedule within your day and stick to it. You know, so let's say you're a person that wakes up at 7 a.m. Wake up at 7 a.m. every single day. You know, let's say you live in the UK. If you're a person that trades London session, okay, and you wake up at 7 a.m. or even 6 a.m. in the morning, make sure that's a part of your routine. Okay, wake up at that time, do whatever you need to do, maybe go take a shower, maybe go for a run, you know, do something, and then hop onto the charts, go on the charts, you know, trade. After trading, make sure you have a routine. Okay, make sure you stick to it every single day, because if you're not disciplined on that part of your life, you can never expect yourself to be disciplined in trading. Okay, you have rule sets in your trading, which is basically your trading plan. And if you can't follow your daily routine outside of trading, I don't know how you are supposed to follow your trading plan. Okay, so your outside life definitely impacts your trading life. Okay, all right, so next is risk tolerance. Okay, you have to understand what your personal risk threshold is. Okay, if you're a person, and it doesn't matter, look, I'll be honest, you can do it percentage based if you really want to, or you could do it money based. Okay, some people are better at percentage. Me personally, I can't really go based off a percentage. I just go based off of how much I can lose money wise and just stick to that. You know, like for example, some people are better at percentage, so if they have a 100k account, they can risk 1% and not care. You know, some people aren't like that. Like, you have to see what works for you. I can sit here and be like, okay, everyone should be percentage based, but that's not how it works. Okay, every individual is different. Now, if you are a person that can't handle, like, let's say, I don't know, you're a person that can only handle $500 risk and you have a 100k account, that means you're risking 0.5%. Okay, now stick to that $500 risk. You can increase it later on. You don't have to go for 1% just because everyone else is doing 1%. You have to see what works for you. If you have a 100k account and you risk $500 and you don't care losing $500, then you stick to that. If you're a person that gets a little mad or a little pissed off or whatever, risking $1,000 on a 100k account, which is obviously 1%, But if you're a person that can't handle that, I won't tell, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, "Oh, make sure, you risk 1%, or make sure uh you're able to handle risking 1%." Just handle what you can, risk what you're able to, and which doesn't get you emotional, okay? Because accepting risk, like what it means to accept risk is basically, if you were to lose, would you care or not? Do you get what I mean? So, like me, for example, okay? When I first started, I couldn't risk more than $250 per trade. That was 0.125% of my account balance, because I had a prop firm account of 200K, right? I was funded 200K on a prop firm account, and I was risking $250, which is 0.125%. So you have to understand what you can handle, and once you're able to kind of handle it, you can play around with your risk sometimes, like risk it a little bit more, just so you can kind of gradually, um I'd say, increase, or get to the next level, per se, you know so understanding your personal risk, not someone else's, okay? Understanding your personal risk threshold and sticking to that, okay? All right, so the next one is journaling emotions. This is very, very important. A lot of people journal trades, which is obviously good. You have to be journaling your trades to be to be able to collect data and become a very profitable trader. But it's not just about journaling trades. Okay, you can sit there and mark out every single trade you took and the losses and all that stuff, but you won't really, like, you're you won't really, I'd say, level up unless you're sitting down and you're also journaling your emotions. Okay, you have to be able to, because look, like I said, your emotions play a big role in trading, especially in the beginning stages. If you're taking trades, you're definitely taking trades with a little bit of emotions, right? If you're able to detach yourself from the money and all that stuff, then, it's definitely amazing. But if you're not able to do that, it doesn't mean you're a bad trader. It just means you need to work on things. So sit down, journal your emotions. Sit down and be like, okay, before I took the trade, when I was doing my analysis, what was I feeling? Was I don't know, feeling FOMO? Was I, feeling overconfident or whatever, right? You have to write that down, and then write down, oh, when I took this trade or when I entered this trade, was I fearful of loss? Was I feeling greedy? Was I feeling FOMO? Whatever, okay? Journal that emotion too. And also journal your emotion when you're taking partials or closing the trade. So you have not only do you have data on the, I'd say, technical side, but you also have data on your emotions, okay? Then you can kind of see a pattern. Oh, maybe these type of setups I'm more emotional on, meaning I'm not fully confident in these type of setups. Do you get what I mean? You can tell yourself, oh yeah, I'm very confident in these setups, but if you don't journal your emotions, you're really not gonna know, right? So you have to be able to journal your emotions alongside journaling your technicals, right? Your trades. Okay, so the next one is trading in the zone. I feel like every other topic I talked about thus far leads up to trading in the zone. Okay, obviously there's a book about trading in the zone. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, basically, trading in the zone is like being in the peak mental state, right, for optimal decision making. So, having discipline and a routine, knowing your risk tolerance, and journaling your emotions is all that leads to having that peak mental state for optimal trading, right? So if you focus on all those things we talked about, right, from discipline and routine, you can get to that peak mental state for optimal decision making. See, it's very important because when you're trading, you have to understand yourself on a deeper level. Okay, you're not I'd say in like trading definitely makes you more aware of your emotions, makes you a better, um I'd say I wouldn't say person, because I mean that's a whole different topic, but I think trading makes you more aware of yourself. Okay? You know yourself on a deeper level than the average person. Okay? So, example being, when you're trading, you have to be mindful and aware of so many different things. And that's why I say have a checklist, or have a plan or rules and stuff like that, right? And adhere by those real rules. So when you're on the charts, you're analyzing the charts. Obviously, you have to um, see all your confluences, mark up the charts, make sure you're on the right side of the market, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff is important, but you also have to think about and be aware of emotions, okay? When you're sitting down and analyzing the markets, also analyze your emotions, okay? Sit down and be aware, okay, there's FOMO, am I feeling it? There's greed, am I feeling that? There's fear of loss, am I feeling that? You know, and all that stuff. Be mindful, be aware all the time. And that helps you get to that, you know, peak mental state. Like being aware of all that is basically you being in that peak mental state, okay? And what helps you get to that is what we just talked about. So the discipline, the routine, the risk tolerance, you know, and the journaling of emotions. The journaling of emotions, obviously, the most important part to getting at this peak mental state. Okay, so, um, yeah, journal your emotions, do everything, and you will get to that peak mental state when it comes to trading.